Welcome to the Dan Casper Show podcast, your chance to catch the full show anytime, anywhere. If you missed it live on the radio, no worries. We've got you covered with all the sports talk, opinions, interviews, and conversations from the show. From the Packers to the Brewers to the biggest stories in sports and around Wisconsin, it's all right here. This is the Dan Casper Show podcast. What's up, everybody? Good morning and a very happy Friday, TGIF. Right, DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk Studios this morning. Thanks for making us a part of your start. If you are up and at it and rolling here this morning, whether you are listening on the radio dials of 105.1 FM, 790 AM, streaming us up online at WAYYradio.com. You've got the video stream on YouTube. Don't forget to click that follow, subscribe button on there, too. Also, we've got the app. You can download that and take it on the go. You got your smart devices and your smart speakers up and rolling here this morning. What do we have on our game plan for this morning? Badger hockey, baby. Badger hockey, men's hockey team, taking down North Dakota yesterday to advance to the national championship. 2-1 victory for Wisconsin, where they will take on Denver, who knocked out Michigan in double overtime last night. So that sets up for Badger hockey to potentially win the national championship on Saturday and sweep Division I national championship hockey. How about that? Women's team, we already know, won. Can the men's team follow suit and capture that national championship? A few of you already reached out and said you've already got tickets. You're boarding a plane and heading to Vegas, and you're going to be taking that game on in. So what a season for this Badger hockey team, right? Just kind of some ebbs and flows, ups and downs, and here we are. National championship potentially for the Badger men's hockey team. So we got that on the dockets. We'll hit that up throughout the morning. Also, Brewers are going to be back in action starting tonight, as they will be back at the friendly confines of American Family Field, where they will be taking on the Washington Nationals. Chad Patrick going to be getting the start for the Crew. So we'll preview this game and preview this entire series throughout the morning here, too. So, but Chad Patrick going to be making his third start on this season. And on the flip side, the Brewers are going to be going up against Jake Irvin, who so far this year in 2 games has pitched 9 innings, has struck out 11. He is 1-1, but he's coming off of a performance against the Dodgers where he suffered a loss, giving up 8 hits, 6 earned runs. But his first start of the season was against the Cubbies, where he did pick up a win, went 5 innings, and just 2 earned runs. So, again, we'll take a look at this matchup, but also the entire series throughout this morning. So plenty of baseball talk, plenty of Brewers chat coming your way. The Milwaukee Bucks will be wrapping up their season tonight and tomorrow. Final home game tomorrow. Final game of the season on Sunday. And Giannis has already been ruled out. For tonight's game. So we will not see him unless something drastically changes here. But he will has already been ruled out for tonight's game. So you got that going. So, but I think a lot of us Bucks fans probably just ready to wrap up this season, and let's get this offseason kind of over with and such here too. So, but we'll throw a little hoops chats into this too. Also, we've got local sports roundup. Brandon Berg, our good buddy, will be joining us, breaking everything down for our local sports roundup, brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. Obviously, a lot on the prep side of things with baseball and softball underway, track and field, soccer, golf, tennis. I mean, a lot is going on right now. Also, blue gold wise, we'll talk some softball as we get set for WIAC play. Baseball here too. Tennis for the blue golds. Stout, UW Stout also in action. So we'll cover it all for our local sports roundup. Again, brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. We're going to catch up with the good doc, Dr. Austin Crow, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, coming up just under an hour from now, just past 7 o'clock here this morning for our Inside the Training Room segment. Also, we've got Cream of the Crop. We'll do some AJM Automotive, Pump the Brakes, or Full Throttle a little bit later on here, too. We are 2 weeks away from my favorite day of the NFL Draft, round 2, day 2. So, yeah, we'll take a look at some of the latest and greatest in terms of who's visiting the Packers, top 30 visits, latest rumors, rumblings, and all that sort of stuff. You know, sometimes we usually hear about, maybe some potential trade-ups and that, but I don't know, it kind of feels pretty darn quiet. But maybe there will be a team on draft day that will surprise, kind of like the Jaguars last year, trading up to get Travis Hunter and such. So, but we'll throw a little NFL draft talk in here, too, as we are just, again, 2 weeks away from my favorite day, day 2, which is rounds 2 and 3. So, but we got that. And then, hey, it's an open house party here this morning on a Friday morning as we get set for the weekend. So wherever else the conversation may lead us to. Am I right? Yeah, that's what I thought. So, all right, let's get things rocking and rolling here this morning, shall we? Let's get things started off here. We'll talk some hockey with the Badger men's hockey team. Picking up the win yesterday. Going to be going up against a Denver team that was in a battle against Michigan. Double overtime victory for Denver. So here we are. Coming up tomorrow, Saturday. Can the Badger men's hockey team get it done and get that national championship? Man, that'd be awesome. Plus, we'll talk some baseball in the first hour as we get set for this series going up against the Nationals. Brewers looking to get back to their winning ways after dropping their first series of the season against the Red Sox. And actually, this is the first time that the Brewers be going up against a National League team there, too. So you got that. Kind of weird. A couple weeks into the season, this is the first time the Brewers will be going up against a National League team. But Brew Crew, back in sole possession of first place, if you're paying attention to the National League Central standings, with the Reds a half game back, Pittsburgh 7-5, Cardinals 7-5, and then the Cubbies bringing up the rear at 500-6-6. So plenty to get to here in the first hour of the program. All right, let's get things going here this morning, shall we? We'll take our first break, and then the lead off. We'll talk some hockey, talk some baseball coming up in just a couple minutes. Looking for that perfect place to kick back this spring and summer? Well, then you need to head on over to the VFW Post 305, Eau Claire's go-to spot to relax, grab a drink, and enjoy the moment. Inside, it's a great place to meet up with friends, but when the weather warms up, it's all about that patio. With one of the best river views in town, there's no better place to soak up the sunshine, to unwind after work, and to spend a weekend afternoon. Cold beverages, great people, and a view that you can't beat. That's VFW Post 305 in Eau Claire, your spot to hang out this season. Oh, yeah, let's get things. We've got the Hall of Famer G-Man already chiming in on the texting line. Good to hear from the Hall of Famer, giving a shout-out to the Badger men's hockey team. Badger men's hockey team getting it done yesterday in their Frozen Four matchup against North Dakota, picking up a 2-1 victory, and they advance to the national championship, where they will be taking on Denver. So Denver defeating Michigan in double OT. Wisconsin putting up 2 goals early on in the first period. It's like, all right, here we go. Well, nothing after that, but I mean, some stellar defense. North Dakota making it a little bit closer, putting up that goal in the third period. But Wisconsin, with their fast starts, able to take down the second overall seed and move on to that national championship game. Wisconsin had 37 shots compared to North Dakota's 22. So Wisconsin definitely being uber aggressive on the ice last night, but maybe a little bit of advantage for Wisconsin, and maybe this is just kind of some wishful thinking or hopeful thinking and such. But you've got Wisconsin now going to be going up against a Denver team that, again, went to double overtime against the top-seeded Michigan Wolverines to pick up that victory. So maybe a little bit tired, maybe a little bit of weak legs, possibly. So we'll see. But nonetheless, what a fantastic game for Wisconsin yesterday to get that W and advance to the national championship game. And to kind of, obviously season's not over with and such, but you look at this Badger season for this men's team. Go back to the beginning where, there were some questions like, okay, what's this team going to look like after year 2 of the Mike Hastings era, year 1 of the Mike Hastings era? It did surpass a ton of expectations. Like, oh, dang, all right. And then year 2 probably came in with some super high expectations, and, well, it didn't live up to that, which left a lot of fans disappointed. But let's remember, too, they also lost a lot of talent, right? They lost a lot of players. So there were some questions heading into year 3. What was this going to look like? Well, they started off pretty decent to open up the season. That included, wins against Minnesota at the end of October, beginning of November. They split that series against Michigan in the beginning of November, and then Michigan State, when they played them at towards the end of November, Michigan State, the top team, they picked up a couple wins there, just kind of a little bit on a roll, and then they had that rematch against Michigan State in January. And that's kind of where they went through a little bit of a rough stretch, right? They lost both games there. Then they had Penn State. They lost both of those games. And they had Minnesota, and they lost both of those games. So you're talking about a 6-game losing streak, and it's like, what is going on now? And then they get to the end of February. They split against Michigan. They pick up a couple wins against 6th-ranked Penn State. It's like, all right, they got the mojo back, and then it's an early exit in the Big Ten tournament, a 1-7 loss to Ohio State. It's like, what's going on here? And then they get, obviously, to the tournament. They beat Dartmouth. They beat Michigan State in OT in a nice comeback. To advance to the Frozen Four. They take down second-seeded North Dakota. And now, here we are, getting set for the national championship. And it's just kind of been, ebbs and flows, ups and downs, all over the place a little bit here for this Badger men's hockey team. But nonetheless, an absolutely fantastic season, and hopefully we could put a nice big bow on this thing to put a cap on this awesome season. So I hope we open up Monday morning talking about another national championship for the Badger hockey program. That would be awesome. If you want to start to send your picks on over, obviously we're not going to do our picks until the 9 o'clock hour and such, but go for it, and you can send those on over. So we'll have more hockey talk throughout the morning here. But we've got baseball also, too, here for the Brew Crew as they get set to open up a series with the Nationals back in Milwaukee. Chad Patrick's going to be making his 3rd appearance so far. And Chad Patrick, when we talk about some of this younger pitching staff and, what are they going to be able to provide for this year? And, I mean, you can look at Chad Patrick and say maybe he's been off to the better starts of all these starting pitchers so far if you just kind of look at it from a numbers perspective. It is just 2 starts, but in those 2 starts, he's 1-0 and currently has a .96 ERA. Second game against the White Sox back on the 28th. He went 4 1/3, 5 hits, 1 earned run, struck out 4. Kansas City did issue 3 walks. Want to get that number down a little bit, but he went 5 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs, struck out 3. He's not going to strike out a ton. A couple times last year he had the double digits and such, but nonetheless, guy's been off to, I think we could all say, a pretty good start, a pretty solid start. And hopefully that's something that could continue, because when we look at this pitching staff, I feel like Chad Patrick maybe has been the guy that has been overlooked a little bit, because obviously Jacob Mizorowski is going to get all the fanfare and the oohs and the ahs because of the talent that he brings and the smoke that he throws. You got Brandon Woodruff, just the veteran, longtime Brewer and such. He's just the leader of this group. He, of course, going to get a lot of attention. Then you got the Kyle Harrisons, the newcomers, right? You got the Kyle Harrisons, Brandon Sprouts and such. It's like, what are these youngsters going to be able to provide? Kyle Harrison has been awesome. Brandon Sprouts been a little bit down so far. And then you just got Chad Patrick. I mean, Chad Patrick, who was to open up last year when the Brewers were going through so many pitching injuries to their starters, he got thrown in the mix. We didn't know who the heck he was at first. And he, for like the first couple months of the season, was pretty much Mr. Consistent. You kind of knew what you were going to get with him. It was probably going to be at max 3 earned runs. I think that was the most he had allowed in a game in the first couple months. And then it kind of tailed off there a little bit, got sent back down to the minors when pitchers started to get healthy and such. And then came back and was a pivotal player down the stretch, coming out of the pen and such, eating some innings, especially in the postseason. But it just kind of feels like, of all the talk that maybe we've thrown out there about this pitching group, whether it's been the bullpen or some of these starters, heading into his second year, it just kind of feels like Chad Patrick's maybe been the guy that hasn't been talked a whole lot about. I mean, we've thrown in Logan Henderson talk because a lot of people threw him as a possibility for Rookie of the Year candidates and such. You got Robert Gasser that people are still keeping an eye on in AAA too. Like, could he be called up? And then maybe you just got good old Chad Patrick. Good old consistent, good old solid Chad Patrick. Hopefully that's the case for him this year. So we'll see what he's able to do in his third game of the season. When you look at the matchups, the Nationals don't have any experience going up against him. So maybe that's a good thing. On the flip side, the Nationals are going to be throwing Jake Irvin, who is 1-1 in 2 games with an 8 ERA, 9 innings pitched, 11 strikeouts so far this season. And when you look at it from a Brewers perspective, their lineup has a little bit of experience. A few of them have quite a bit of experience and some solid success against Irvin. William Contreras, for example, has 2 dingers, 2 home runs against him in 14 career at-bats, 5 RBIs. He's hitting .286 with an OPS of a 1.230. Sal Frelick, 13 career at-bats. He's hitting .385 against him, 891 OPS. Christian Yelich has a home run in 11 career at-bats against him. He's hitting a whopping .545 at a 1.643 against the righty. And then Bryce Terang in 14 career at-bats, not as high numbers as the players I just mentioned, .214 batting average at a .500 OPS. So, but everybody else, you got Joey Ortiz, who has 6 career at-bats, he's hitting .500. And everybody else kind of has just a couple ABs. Bowers has 5, and he's got a .286 OPS, but no average against him. So, but the mainstays, if you will, for this Brewers team. And Garrett Mitchell, 4 career at-bats, including a dinger. So, but the mainstays for the Brewers from the last couple of years are the ones that lead the pack in terms of experience going up against Irvin. But you look at this Nationals team, and obviously, the big thing when it comes to the Washington Nationals so far was kind of their starts of the season. Joey Wiemer, former friend, Joey Wiemer, off to that amazing start to begin the year. They had that start against the Cubbies and such. So now you kind of look at where things are at in the standings here for the Washington Nationals in that NL East. They are at the bottom, sitting there at 4-8. Lost their last 2 games. offensively, if we look at some of the numbers here for the Washington Nationals, if we look at home runs, they're one of the best in all of Major League Baseball right now. They're tied for third with 16 home runs. The only teams that are higher than them are the Dodgers at 21, the Braves have 17, and they're tied with the Astros with 16 home runs. So from a pitching standpoint, something to be made aware of. The long ball for the Washington Nationals. Other things, though, they are one of the league's best in terms of not striking out either. I mean, they're tied for the fifth fewest strikeouts so far, 99. Brewers are about middle of the pack. They're tied for they are 18th, it looks like, 108. So pretty patient at the plate as well. And then kind of looking at some other numbers here. They don't walk a ton. They've only got 44 walks, which compared to the Brewers, who are the second best at walks, they've got 62. So OPS-wise, Nationals offense, third best with a 770. The only two teams better than them, Dodgers at 841 and the Astros at an 824. Slugging, you're looking at the Nationals third best in the major leagues. Same two teams ahead of them, Dodgers, Astros. When it comes to on-base percentage, it's Houston, the Dodgers, and then the Brewers. Then you got the Marlins and the Nationals. So offensively, a solid team for the Washington Nationals. Now, pitching-wise, when it comes to the Nationals here, this is where the Brewers' offense has, I would say, a pretty significant advantage going up against them. Because if we look at opponents' batting average so far to begin this season, the Nationals are the highest. Their pitching staff, hitters are hitting 275. 275 against them. In terms of ERA, the Nationals, dead last, 6.06. 6.06. Yay. In terms of earned runs, when you kind of look at it here, the Nationals have given up the second most earned runs, 72. The only team worse than them is the Houston Astros. And the team that has the pitching staff that has given up the most home runs so far this year, the Washington Nationals with 24. So, and then I'm just looking at strikeouts. They've struck out the fourth fewest batters too. The three teams that are worse than them, Tampa Bay, Arizona, and actually the Cardinals. And just kind of looking at, they've given up the fourth most walks, tied for the fourth most walks. I throw that in there too because the Brewers are one of the league leaders in terms of walks and such. So, good offense from Washington. Putrid pitching staff so far from Washington. This is an opportunity for this Brewers offense that has been off to a really good start. Right? I mean, off to a very, very good start. This is an opportunity for them to put up some big numbers and kind of lead the charge a little bit. Because when you look at, still run differential, the Brewers are plus 24. Teams that are better than them, Braves plus 34, Dodgers plus 34, Yankees are plus 25, and that's it. Whereas the Nationals right now are a minus 7 run differential, which isn't the worst. I mean, surprisingly, Philly's actually minus 15, so that's not the worst either, but Toronto's minus 22. But it is an opportunity for this Brewers offense. I think that's probably one of the biggest keys in this series. I mean, the two biggest keys in this series is Brewers pitchers not giving up home runs against this Nationals team, playing solid defense against this Nationals team. And then the offense for the Brewers, taking advantage going up against this pitching staff. Brewers right now, 23 stolen bases, easily leads the league. The next closest is the Marlins at 18, but the Nationals are tied for the fifth most at 14 too. So just something to throw out there as well. All right, we got to take a quick break, but plenty more to get to here. We'll be right back after these quick words. Hy-Vee 3-day grilling sale starting today through Sunday, and we're talking about $3.99 Hy-Vee Choice Reserve Bacon Wrapped Beef Sirloin Fillets, 3 for $5, Midwest Pork Boneless boneless loin butterfly, or America's Cut Chops. I mean, we're talking about some awesome deals if you want to get some of the grills out this weekend and fire it up. And I know weather-wise, temperature-wise, should be pretty darn good, right? And that's maybe talk a little bit of wet weather in that, but we're Wisconsin. That hasn't stopped us before. So otherwise, you've got 388 party size Frito-Lay's chips on there too. You've got $1.99 marinated boneless skinless chicken breasts, bacon wrapped chicken grillers. Those chicken grillers are absolutely fantastic if you haven't tried them from Hy-Vee before. So as always, don't forget to follow the Hy-Vee Facebook page because they'll have daily deals. They'll have sales going on for a couple days and such. Always want to be in the know of what's going on at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. And don't forget, by shopping at Hy-Vee, you can also save some money at the gas pump with their fuel perks too. So 2 birds, 1 stone, right? There you have it. Looks like we've got the Section 105 chat room up and rolling. Joe saying good morning. Let's go Bucky. Barb saying good morning. Great hockey game yesterday. Zach is on there too. We've got Zach and Matt saying good morning. And TGIF guys, let's go. Good morning. And Brandon. Man, we got it rolling already on Section 105. I love this. Let's keep her going. Brandon saying good morning, Dano, and everybody in the chats. I agree, Matt. Let's crack a cold one and talk some sports ball. I might have to go grab one. I don't know. It is Friday. It's a little TGIF. It's a little open house party theme we're going to start doing here on Fridays. Little throwback TGIF / open house party on Fridays. So let's have some fun here this morning, shall we? We've got Tim in the Cooley region also on the Shoe Doctors bullpen line with a quick text saying, watched the Badgers game yesterday. Thought the penalty killing when it was 5-on-3 was huge momentum for the Badgers. I would agree with that too. So do you think it's an advantage for the Badgers, for this Badger men's hockey team, going up against a Denver team that had to go double overtime against Michigan? Yes, they have the off day today, so it's not like an immediate game and such, but a little wear and tear, possibly, hopefully, maybe. Yeah, no? Fingers crossed. I think it's cool. I actually got a couple messages from listeners and such that they bought tickets for the national championship. They got their plane tickets, and they're going down over there. After yesterday's game, got a couple messages on social media saying they're heading down to Vegas to take in the game, to go with the game. So I love it. That's what sports is all about, right? Man. Bring back the W, though. Okay, everybody going, just bring back that win, and let's get another national championship win, too, for Wisconsin. We had day 1 of the Masters yesterday. So we had two-way tie. And shout out, I don't have a name for the texter, but they got to be feeling pretty good because they went with Sam Burns. And Sam Burns right now is tied for first place, tied on top of the leaderboard with Rory McIlroy. Both are at 5 under par through day 1. So, but day 2 is today underway and such. So, how you feeling about your predictions, everybody? My guy, Xander Schauffele, he's 2 under, so he's 3 back. I'm feeling good, feeling confident and such. But Bryson DeChambeau, who I think was probably our most popular pick when we asked for picks for the Masters, he's tied for 56 right now. He's 4 over par. 4 over par, so not a great start. He's gonna have to do something, pretty solid to get back into contention here today. So, but I guess if you got any thoughts and such from day 1 of the Masters, send them on over too. All right, I want you guys and gals to join in on the convo here this morning. So, especially when it's Vegas, Wisconsin travels very well. Yeah, I have not been to Vegas. Not been to Vegas. Don't know what it's like. See a lot of pictures, but yeah, I'm not quite sure. Couldn't tell you, man. Couldn't tell you. I got a couple more texts going back to the Brewers here on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line. Ben saying, I agree. I think Chad Patrick has been kind of overlooked this year, but I think he has the possibility to be the most consistent starter for this Brewers team this year. Doesn't do anything really flashy, just goes out there and wins. He does kind of remind me a little bit of Brandon Woodruff, but maybe not with the strikeout numbers. Another texter, Jake, coming in here. I think this is going to be an opportunity for this Brewers offense to bounce back from a poor showing against the Boston Red Sox to really put up some big numbers against this Washington Nationals pitching staff. At least I hope so. Let's be aggressive and let's put up some crooked numbers early and often in this 3-game series. I do. I agree. I think this is a heck of an opportunity for this Brewers offense. You know, you look at coming off of a game against the Boston Red Sox where they were scoreless, just 4 hits. You know, before that, game 2 of that series, it was against Garrett Groshette and such, just 2 runs, but maybe a chance for these guys to put up some good numbers, to ride that momentum that we've seen from Yelich so far to begin this season. Contreras, Terang, hopefully he's back in the lineup, and hopefully that ankle tendonitis isn't bothering him too much, so he can still be effective at the plate and such. But yeah, I'm excited to see this offense hopefully kind of tee off against this Nationals squad. If you're looking at the rest of the rest of the starts, just blanking on what I was trying to say there. But if you're looking at the rest of the starts and how it's going to work out here for the Brew Crew, so we know Chad Patrick is getting the start today, and yeah, he would have normally. It was his turn in rotation the other day against that series finale against Boston, but because of the doubleheader last Saturday, technically was on short rest. So Saturday, it's going to be Kyle Harrison, the lefty. I'm excited to see Kyle Harrison with his 3rd start. I think he's had a solid start to the season, too. And then Brandon Woodruff on Sunday. So Brandon Sproats was potentially going to be in this rotation or be in this weekend rotation, if you will. But Brewers now adjusting a little bit with Chad Patrick, Kyle Harrison, and Brandon Woodruff. So we'll find out a little bit more today, possibly. But Brewers yesterday, too, did option Shane Drowan back to AAA Nashville. A corresponding move to bring in a fresh arm will probably come today, according to Adam McCulvey. This was from yesterday, too. So maybe a Logan Henderson, maybe somebody else, maybe coming out of the bullpen and such. But we shall see, right? We'll see going forward. All right, we got to take a quick break as we start to wrap up this first hour. Plenty more Brewers talk coming, especially when we get to our guy, Mr. Brandon Berg, coming up in the 7 o'clock hour. But let's wrap up the first quarter. We'll be right back after these quick words. As the fields come back to life, it's time for spring sports in the Chippewa Valley. Whether you're stepping up to the plate or hitting the track or getting back on the field, make sure that your body is ready to perform. At Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, their team specializes in keeping athletes of all ages healthy, strong, and in the game. From injury prevention to expert care and recovery, they've got you covered every step of the season. Don't let pain keep you on the sidelines, peeps. Get back in the game with confidence. Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, helping you move better, play stronger, and staying in the game. Bucks also going to be wrapping up their season. Can't even say just regular season because we know obviously they're not going to the postseason. But Giannis will not be playing in the home finale as of right now because he has been ruled out, which is tonight. And then they're they'll wrap up the season coming up on Sunday. So this was the game I had kind of earmarked a little bit to see, okay, could we see Giannis maybe just suit up for a little bit to go play with his brothers like Alex and Thanasis and such, but not the case. So there you have it. Right now, unless something completely changes, Giannis will not be suiting up again for the Milwaukee Bucks this year. Now, does that mean he will not be suiting up for the Bucks ever again? That's the big question, and I think we're all just ready to get to this offseason and get through the playoffs and figure this thing out, right? Trying to figure this thing out so we can maybe stop talking about it all the time. But it's going to be the biggest topic of conversation throughout the entire NBA offseason. So we'll talk more about this coming up a little bit later on. We've got our local sports roundup brought to you by Carpet City Flooring Center. Lots to catch up on with Mr. Brandon Berg. We'll get to that probably in the 8 o'clock hour, along with our AJM Automotive Pump the Brakes Full Throttle. Got a little cream of the crop coming up in about, let's say, 10 minutes. We'll catch up with our doc, Dr. Austin Crow, Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for a little inside the trading room. We'll get his thoughts on Bryce Terang and his tendonitis issue that he's dealing with right now in that ankle. Is that something that could be that maybe he's got to deal with throughout the rest of the season? How could it impact him? Maybe more so from a base stealing standpoint and such. But we'll go through that and a whole lot more with Dr. Austin Crow coming up, let's say about 10 minutes, just past the 7 o'clock hour here this morning. So keep your comments, your analysis, your thoughts coming. You can hit us up on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912, or on the chat here. We'll wrap it up with a couple minutes left with Morgan. Good morning, Morgan.
Hey, Casper. Have you seen the new uniforms that Brewers are going to wear tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Do you like them?
Yeah. Okay. I want a hat.
Okay.
But I don't want to spend $50.
Let's see.
Why are hats?
Okay, I'm going to say this. We went to the opener. There is nothing that you would buy, like, from the pro shop and stuff there. There is probably nothing under $50.
I know.
That is a little ridiculous right now. I mean, when did that happen? Because we're talking about this, like, with concert T-shirts and stuff, too. When 30 is the new norm, and that's like low end, and then it just goes up from there, and hoodies are 50 and up.
Yeah.
It's like, what the heck happened?
Yeah. And I when it comes to a baseball hat, I have to have the actual fitted hat.
You can't do the little snappy snap in the back?
I don't mind snapback hats. I wear them. It's just a baseball hat's got to be fitted.
Okay, got it.
Because that's what the players wear, so I got to have the fitted.
Now, if you're doing the uniform draw, let's go Brewers only, since we're kind of crunched on time. Do you have a favorite era? Because I like the old, kind of like that lighter blue glove.
The baby blue?
Yeah, I kind of like that one. Mm-hmm. I'm not such a big fan of like the wheat that came out later with the navy that had like the wheat stock there. That was not my favorite. Do you have a favorite era Brewers?
It's probably that baby blue one. Yeah. I have a Robin Yount one of the baby blues.
Oh, do you? Nice. Yeah, that was probably my favorite too. Yeah. What do you think is the ugliest uniform in, let's say, the MLB right now?
Ooh.
Because baseball season's on the mind.
Ooh. Man, I'm going to have to think about that for a little bit. Because this is a question I always bring up. Is it acceptable to wear a hat of another team if you're not a fan of them? Because it just looks good. Like, I like the Blue Jays look, and I like Baltimore's look.
Okay.
But I'm not a fan of them.
Yeah, I think it's fine to wear them.
I don't know.
As long as you're not a fan. Like, if you actively didn't like the team, you couldn't wear, I
can't wear a Cubs. That's just
Yankees.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But, Red Sox all day long. But I'm also, I would call myself a fan after living, in Boston and stuff. But when it comes to some uniforms, I do, some of them are just sharper than others, period. But who do you think has the most Uggo uniform right now? Here's the thing, and you're a fashionista. I think I know the answer to